Hi, I'm Ralph Serpe, President and CEO of the Adams County Community Foundation, and welcome to Open House Christmas Edition. I'm here with Emily Rice-Townsend, who is a trustee of the Adams County Community Foundation and the incoming chair of Adams County Dollars for Scholars.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you're also a founder of the I Do Foundation.
It's true. That was a number of years ago, but a very pivotal part of my development in thinking about philanthropy.
Well, we are talking about generosity today, so I would love for you to tell us a story about the beginning of the I Do Foundation.
All right. Well, the I Do Foundation is based on the idea of couples having a charitable component to their wedding. So the idea is that you could give a gift to charity as a favor, or your guests could give a gift in lieu of a more traditional gift. But we also had a piece that involved affiliate marketing so that couples could still register for those items that they really wanted for their home.
Now, they wanted to be generous, but not all the way generous.
Right, a combination. And a portion of the gift would go to the charity of the couple's choice. And it was the reason I was willing to be part of it, founding, it always has a level of commitment that getting an idea off the ground. But I just felt really moved by the idea that it was creating new dollars for charity. So really not just redistribution of the philanthropic pie, but really new dollars. And also that it was a wonderful emotional piece for couples as they're starting a life together to not only think about their commitment to each other, but also their community.
Their commitment to the community.
Yeah.
And where did that sense of community and generosity come from for you?
Well, growing up in I grew up in Gettysburg, which is a wonderful small town feel. We like to say that it has a lot of the benefits of a larger town with a lot of resources from the battlefield and the college and things like that, but it does have a small town feel. So if there is something that is troubling you or of concern, you really can create change.
So you're going in that direction. I have a habit of not speeding when I'm in Adams County. And I always wave the other driver along because you never know who that other driver is. But your family's been here for a very long time.
It's true. I am the 8th generation on my father's side. And I actually am working in the family business, which is apples. We have a fresh apple packing facility, and some other members of my family are growing apples. The Rice Fruit Company packs for about 40 growers that are in the area, and agriculture is an extremely important part of our community, and it's a wonderful community in and of itself. It definitely has a feeling that, rising tides lift all ships. People are very generous to each other and have a lot of community spirit.
Well, and you're in a business where your defining product defines generosity to teachers. So bring an apple for your teacher.
That's true.
But this idea of generosity in spirit, is that something that comes to you during the holiday season like it does for many people, or is this deeply ingrained in you?
I think that it was wonderfully taught and modeled by my parents, who are extremely generous people. My mom specifically is very thoughtful about the causes that she wants to give her time and money to. During my teenage years, she was the director of community service at Gettysburg College. So there was a lot of talk in my family about what are the needs of the community, what are resources that we can redirect, how can we solve this problem? And those are, I think, learned behavior, truthfully. And I think generosity comes from sort of empathy or flows very naturally from empathy and gratitude. And my mom demonstrated both of those. She's an extremely empathetic person, to the point of small acts of kindness that are often very generous, of those extra few minutes of talking to someone who may need it. But I think those, as I was saying, those two things flow into a sense of generosity, and those are especially evident at this time of year, to feel that you are so grateful to have so much, and that sense of abundance can often, hopefully, create a sense that you want to share it with others. And that's especially true at this time of year.
Especially true this time of year. And for you, if we're okay to say, you are a new mom.
It's true.
So you have a 2-month-old boy.
Thank you for not letting me get through this interview without mentioning that.
I couldn't possibly go through this without mentioning your son, who I just saw outside with a full head of hair and people doting over him.
It's true.
And what's your hope for him as he grows up, hopefully here in Adams County, in terms of generosity and giving? What are your hope? What do you hope for him?
Well, I, like every new parent, have high hopes for him to be a good man and a important member of our community, a generous member of our community. And my husband and I have been talking about how do you do that? I'm only 8 weeks into my parenting adventure, so.
Well, if he's not sleeping through the night, it really means you're 16 weeks through the parenting adventure, right?
That's true. And just to note, as a new parent, I am not sleeping through the night, and you asked me to do an interview, which, if I am not articulate, I have a beautiful escape clause.
Well, you're very generous to share your time with us
Thank
today.
you.
But for him, like, what do you think you can do as he grows for him to be a generous person?
Yeah, I think that the two things that we would like to develop is, I think empathy is certainly a developmental stage, but then is something that can be practiced and learned. And so practicing looking at the world from other people's perspective helps build that skill of empathy. And then the second is to see more of the world and to travel and to realize how fortunate we are to live in this beautiful community, and the abundance that we have helps to foster a sense of generosity.
Well, we do live in a community where we're visited by millions of people. They're here to see apples, they're here to see National Historic Sites. So we welcome the world.
That's true.
But your hope is that he then takes that and goes and visits the world.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
And what's your hope? What's your big hope for Adams County?
I'm not sure that I can answer that question. That question is too big for me to tackle.
Yeah? So
Can you break it down to a smaller piece for me?
I could. I mean, your family's been here for 8 generations. And there are some of us that have been here for just 8 weeks. And so we have a big world out there that sometimes philanthropy can be a part of, that personal generosity can have an impact. So when I ask you about what are your hopes for Adams County, like what are your hopes for this community?
I hope that we keep the pieces that feel so special. To me, a lot of that is the agriculture, that we have these green rolling hills of idyllic apple orchards and other fruit trees. That to me is intrinsic to the culture and quality of our life here.
And the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania agrees with you.
Yes, they do, and I'm glad to say that. So I hope that that land conservation is an important piece, because that is the physical beauty of our environment as well as the livelihood for a lot of people. But there certainly are some problems that I want us to solve as a community. For me, I have joined the Adams County Community Foundation because I believe that they can be a catalyst for change and create impact in our community, and that's very exciting. Affordable housing is a issue that we are struggling with and requires a lot of creative problem solving, and I'm excited to see where our community can go together to address that. That is a hope that I have for us in the future.
Well, thank you. Well, Emily Rice-Townsend, it is wonderful to have you here, even if you've been sleep deprived. And we thank you and your family for their generosity, of spirit at this time of year and all year round. It's an interesting place to have a business where you're so public and out there and people know you, that when they're looking for someone to invest in the community or invest in their organization, you're on the short list of organizations they come to. So to approach the expectation that you and your company and your family will be generous, and you approach it with a very happy heart. And we're thankful that you're supporting it through the Community Foundation, that you're supporting it through Dollars for Scholars, and making an investment in many people's children.
Yeah.
So we really do appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ralph Serpe with the Adams County Community Foundation. Thank you for joining us with this segment of Open House Christmas Edition. Thank you.